up? It's your boy MoonDog38732. What's up? It's your boy MoonDog38732 from the MoonDog38732 show on YouTube. It's your first time watching the show. I just use my channel to tell stories about how I grew up and the people in the stories and the situations, how they made me to be the person I am to be today. Please watch the show, like the show, comment on the show, share the show, and subscribe. If you don't like what I'm doing, man, keep it moving, right? So, I'm going to tell you a situation, right? Now, I'm not a drinker. I don't drink. That's never been my thing, right? Could I do it if I wanted to? Sure, but that's never been my thing, right? So, we know it's football season, whatever, the playoffs getting ready to start. But this story right here just happens to be around the time of the NBA playoffs. Around the time when Reggie Miller and the Pacers, they playing Patrick Ewing and his Knicks teams, right? But let me give you a little bit of something before that, right? So when I was going to college, right, me and my homies, we was out from the same town. We would like hang out together. They was always drinking and stuff like that. But hey, man, drinking was my thing, right? So but my partner though, which is all us together, but we would like stop at the store and he'd get a beer, right? I'm like, I ain't no beer drinker. I think we got some pop or some jungle juice. So at this point, I'm like, hey man, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna get you something. He said, you don't want nothing? I'm like, you don't want nothing, MoonDog? I'm like, hey, matter of fact, give me something, man. He said, what you want? I'm like, man, give me a deuce of Heineken. So what I started doing, when he would like ride me, we'll go somewhere, I'd give me a deuce of Heineken. But the thing about it was, I would take a deuce of Heineken to the head, I'd finish it in 2 minutes. Because if anybody drunk Heineken, you know that it does what? When it gets hot, it tastes really, really nasty. And I don't see how people basically sitting on beer anyway. If you're trying to get somewhere and you want the beer to take you there, man, go ahead and get there as fast as you can, right? So, you know, so I was doing it out there for a little while, but nobody really knew I was doing it, but me and my home was. But he told them, my other partners, they like, oh, okay, that's what we doing now, MoonDog. You drink him, but you drink with me. And then my other partners, which they moved from being my neighbor, they moved to like another little small town, right? So when they get together, they had 3 H's. They had the Hay, the Heineken, and the Hennessy. You know what I'm saying? So they were like, get on down. And when I mean, hey, they roll blunts look like baseball bats. You know what I'm saying? You're like, I don't want no smoke. I don't want none of that brown liquor. I don't want no white liquor. But what you can do, you can pass me some Heineken, right? So I'm just like drinking the Heineken, man. I took like 2 on to the head, like real quick, right? So I'm like done. I don't want to drink no more. I don't want to drink no more. Everybody else, they was like doing their thing. And so we out there cooking and barbecuing and stuff. So everybody out there playing cards. I'm looking like, I sat down. They like, you straight MoonDog? I'm like, man, right now, like I'm seeing an infrared, right? So they cracking up, right? So a little while later, it was me, my homeboy Ben. We was in the projects. And I'm saying names this time. It was me, my homeboy Ben. Man, Chubby was over in the projects. We was over to McGee's house, right? So Ben, he was like, hey MoonDog, come on, let's go over here, man. Go watch the game, man. You know, they got foods over there. I'm like, man, how we gonna get over there, man? I feel like walking. He said, man, get you. At the time, you know what I'm saying, I had a bike. And he had a bike. So we get on our bikes, man. We ride on over to the projects, right? So we up there. I'm like, hey, man, what's up, man? They say, what's up, MoonDog? What's up, MoonDog? Everybody up there chilling. They said, man, you don't want nothing? I'm like, we got some Gatorade or something? They like, nah, man, got no Gatorade. We got some beer. But they had Budweiser. And like, I don't even see why people drink Bud Light, but that's neither here nor there, right? So they had Budweiser, and they had that brown liquor. And they also had that Seagram gin. I'm like, man, I ain't drinking no gin. They said, man, get you a beer. And I'm like, I don't even want no beer either. But it started getting hot in the house. The gang, you know what I'm saying, getting tense. Reggie Miller out there doing this thing, man, shooting on light. So everybody getting crunk up. So now they got thirsty. So I'm like, man, I don't want no beer, man. He said, man, get a beer. So I got a beer, bam, Budweiser, took it to the head, right? Got another Budweiser, bam, took it to the head. They said, you straight, man, you want nothing else? And they came out there with the brown liquor. They said, man, try some of this. I'm like, man, I don't even drink, man. I don't drink no liquor, nothing like that. So I said, man, take a little shot or something. I'm like, man, this shot ain't gonna kill me. Bam, took a little shot of brown, right? I'm like, man, I'm really like, liquor, no way. But, bam, took another shot. And another shot, and another shot. Then I got another beer, and another beer. And I had like a hat, right? But my hat was like sprayed, and it had some stuff on there. Only I knew what it meant, right? So I got my hat, man, put my hat down. I'm up in there sweating, man. So it started getting late. I had to be at work at the next day, which I worked construction at the time at Delta State. They were redoing the library, right? So I'm up in there, I'm stumbling. I'm like, oh man, I got drunk and didn't even know it. It snuck up on me, right? So the thing about it was, I'm like, we didn't drive over here. We didn't get no rides. So I'm drunk. Everybody in the house drunk. My partner drunk. The deck, the McGee's up in there, they didn't dozed off. So me and my partner Ben like, man, we gotta go, man. So matter of fact, Ben had spent the night with me. You know what I'm saying? So I get on the bike. I'm like, man, my equilibrium thrown all the way out. I'm drunk, and we riding bikes, man. We like, we tired going like this, right? And so we got to go across the highway, and the cars and stuff come. We was like, man, I'm finna die, man. I got hit, man. Cause of death, man. Stupidity, right? I finally get home. I get the bike, man. Put the bike over on the side of the wall or wherever I put it, man. I don't even remember, right? I get up in there, man. Ben go in one room. I go in the other room. But I have to be at work the next day. I lay down. Room spinning. Got the ceiling fan on, the air on. It's still hot. It's summertime, right? It's still hot. Air on. Ceiling fan on. It's hot. Now my stomach can start boiling. Now I feel like I'm about to throw up. So what did I do? I get the garbage can, man. Put the garbage can by the bed. I'm up in there feeling like, man, I'm about to die. Like somebody done beat me like a rented mule. And my partner, he up in there, he sleep. You know what I'm saying? He knocked out. He ain't got nothing to do the next day. So, man, I couldn't go to sleep. I was struggling all night, man. I was hurting. My head started hurting. The stomach was hurting. Everything. I was like feeling bad. The room still spinning. I'm trying to put the cover over my face or whatever, man. Nothing worked. So I had to be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning. I ended up going to sleep probably like 3. I get up. My mama, she was already gone to work. So I'm looking like, man, my ride already left because I ain't heard nobody. So all I had to do, man, I had to get on the bike and ride my bike to work, right? And I'm struggling. I'm moving like 1 mile an hour, man, or less on that bike. It took me a minute. It took me a while to get to work. I was almost late. They came in and everybody was out there all day working. So I got in, clocked in, and made it out there. They're like, man, you okay? I said, yeah, man, I'm sick. They looked at me. I'm looking at them like, and they said, you need some water or something? I'm like, so I'm drinking some water, man, trying to balance everything out, right? And I can smell the alcohol in the beer, man, coming. I'm sweating out there. I can smell it coming through my pores. And I'm like, if I can smell it, I knew they can smell it. And my stomach was still hurting. So I'm over there sitting by myself, man. They out there working. I'm like, man, I feel really bad. They like, man, you good, man? What happened? I said, man, I just feel sick. They knew I was drunk. You know what I'm saying? They knew I was drunk. Man, that was one of the longest days of my life, man. I never drank it. You know what I'm saying? I never got drunk again. I don't drink. That's not my thing. I could do it if I wanted to, but when you mix that brown with some Budweiser, as a matter of fact, nobody never tell me, hey man, don't drink the brown liquor and mix it with beer. Even though when I was younger, you know what I'm saying? I used to do what? I used to drink the doggone wine coolers and stuff, and the champagne and stuff, right? It snuck up on me this time. So now karma came back around and it got me, right? So I'm just out there struggling. I made it home. As soon as I get home, I didn't even eat lunch at work. As soon as I get home, I went to the bed. I still had my work clothes. I took the boots off, whatever, and I put the coat on my head, man, get drink water like all night and use the bathroom, and I was done. With that being said, hey man, drinking, that's a serious game. You know, I was struggling, man. It really happened, man. And hey man, for all y'all drinkers out there, man, I wish y'all luck on that, man. And a hangover, oh man, my hangover was like on a Richter scale. You know what I'm saying? As far as hangover. Hey, check your boy hat out too. See this hat right here? I got this right here made from a place called City Los, man. They hooked me up with the MoonDog38732 show hat, man. And you see it got the what on it? You got the Mississippi license plate, man. Hey, man, thank y'all for y'all support, man. Y'all have a good one.